Why are you not losing weight on the carnivore diet? This also happens to be why you're not losing weight on any diet. I got a bunch of videos on this. I get questions about this all the time. I get comments. So it feels like I'm probably covering this a little too aggressively, but here's the thing. The thing that helps you lose weight and get back to your homeostatic natural body also happens to be the thing that makes you healthy. They're the same thing. We're not talking about taking weight loss pills or hacks or tricks or gimmicks or like water cutting or any like crazy starvation stuff. We're talking about sustainable weight loss so that you get your body fat down to a healthy level, and that decreases your chances of like literally every disease known to man. So when I talk about weight loss, I'm really also talking about health. It's a proxy, health, weight loss, etc. So let's talk about 4 reasons why you're not losing weight. The first things first, you're still eating a lot of calories. Now listen, I do not like the calories in, calories out energy balance dogma. I disdain it. I actively rail against it. But there's also a point where you do hit a threshold where you're eating a lot of energy. And in this case, usually protein and carbs. And so the way I think about it is protein, nitrogen, repair, rest, recovery, etc. And then energy comes from carbs and fat. I don't actually really think of protein as calories at all. And I recommend looking into some Dr. Ted Nyman's work, who we actually had in the Ancestral Mind podcast. You can find a link up here to learn more about how to think about balancing protein to energy. You're probably eating too many calories because you're not really listening to your body. Maybe you're not using intermittent fasting. I don't know. It's hard to really diagnose that. Maybe you're emotion eating. Maybe you have too much food on the counter or in the pantry that's easy to snack on. Like maybe you have a bag of pork rinds that you love and you go grab those and, well, it's carnivore. So, here's some strategies to help your body get to that place where it's eating just enough calories. Here's some tips. 1, drink a full glass of water with some wild pink salt in it. And you can find a link up here to wildfoods.co. If you want to support the show, head over to my company and you can see all the real food products and ingredients. I'm actually doing a video on the carnivore box I'm going to put together. Hopefully I'll have that live soon. Maybe by the time this video goes out. It's got all of our staples that you can use on a carnivore diet. Drink a full glass of water. Have a little bit of that pink salt in there for absorption. Maybe even give yourself 20, 30 minutes to let it kind of get through your body, fill you up a little bit, and then you're less likely to eat food when you're eating. 2, eat protein first. So if you have a big steak or you have a big piece of salmon or whatever it is, eat that first. Prioritize that. So if you have carbs, protein, or anything on the side, you're going to eat that when you're mostly already full because protein is the most satiating nutrient you can eat. Next, eat slow. This has been something I've struggled with my whole life. I love food. I gobble it down almost like it's going to run away. Give your brain, your gut time to connect, to talk to each other. When that signal from your gut goes to your brain and says, hey, we're getting full here, slow down. When that happens, you're letting your body decide how much food it needs. I've heard that they say it's between 10 to 15 minutes before that even happens. So if you're like me and your food's basically gone in like 3 minutes, maybe extend that out to 6 to 9 to 10. Eat slow. 4, use intermittent fasting. The reason this will help you eat less calories is not because you're calorie restricting per se, because intermittent fasting is not about, and this is a common misconception, it's not about reducing calories, though you can use it to reduce calories. Intermittent fasting is about meal timing. So in a given day, if you eat 2,000 calories a day, when are you eating those meals? Are you eating like spaced out through the whole day? Or do you have a tight window where you're eating and the rest of the day is fasting? That's what you want from intermittent fasting. And of course, some days you should do a full day fast. That's great. That's, technically calorie restricting because you would have eaten 2,000 calories and you don't.
Consult your doctor if you're gonna do that, because drugs and
The second reason why you're probably not losing weight is because you're eating too frequently. And we just talked about intermittent fasting. This helps solve that. Now, the reason this solves that and how it helps you eat less calories, less energy, is because you're not just going into the kitchen snacking all the time. You're not just, like randomly watching a show and snacking out of that bag or whatever it is. You're not eating throughout the day because you're bored. You're not eating every time you pass the kitchen. Intermittent fasting for me has always simplified things because I wake up in the mornings and I don't even think about food. I go about my day, I work, whatever, simple. And then I break my fast pretty much always with a steak. And a video I just recorded on that is up here. This keeps it simple. This means I don't have to wake up and have some cheese and make decisions about my food. It simplifies my life, it simplifies my eating, and it makes sure that I can control my calories by keeping them in a feeding window. So the reason that we need to control when we eat and how much we eat is because we live in a food abundant environment now. Our ancestors lived in a food scarce environment. Think about the last time you went camping or walking in the woods. I got 10 acres here. If I walk back there, am I going to find any food? Let's assume I walk past my chickens. Am I going to find wild animals? I might see a squirrel, but good luck catching him. I might see some edible greens or leaves or herbs if I'm really looking. But a few calories munching on those? And the amount of calories I got to expend chewing them. I'm going to burn off. Food is scarce in the wild. Humans had to go out. They had to have strong hunger cues to hunt, forage around all day long. We used to walk 13 to 15 miles a day for this. We're designed to walk. We're designed as long endurance runners, endurance hunting and things like that. Every explanation for why the human animal is today is defined, is understood, is explained by understanding hunter-gatherer life. This is no different. Our ancestors wouldn't have waken up to breakfast, a steaming plate of bacon and eggs, even though for some people they do better on breakfast, whatever, I won't get into that. They would have gotten up, maybe they socialize for a little bit, take care of some of the kids, whatever, prepare whatever they got to prepare to go for the day, and they'd go out and they'd find food, or they'd try to find food. And if they found some berries along the way, yeah, sure, they'd eat them. Maybe they'd collect some and bring them back to camp. When they got a hunt, a kill, they would kill it. Maybe the hunters would eat the organ or something like that, but then they would take it back to the camp and share it with everyone else. So even after you get a meal in front of you and you have this big animal, you're going to bring it back, you're going to disperse it out, you're going to eat some things raw, you're probably going to cook some things, and you're going to probably fast that entire time. This is actually why I like fasting post-workout. I don't like eating immediately post-workout the way most people do and the way a lot of the dogma is. I mean, if you're trying to gain and there's certain things like that, it would behoove you to have maybe a protein or collagen shake every so often after a workout. Like that's legitimate. But having like actual whole food, I usually eat 1 to 2, maybe even 3 hours after I work out before I eat. 3, lifestyle factors. All right, I'm going to try to run through these rapid because I have a bunch of videos on this and I don't want to get into this. This video's already, it's going to probably hit the 12 to 15 minute mark. 1, sleep. If you're not sleeping 8 hours a night in a pitch black room, ideally with like a sound machine and no artificial lights or blue lights or EMF devices plugged in or anything.
If you're not doing that, do that.
2, stress. This is a huge one. It's hard to quantify. People that worry all the time, that are anxious, that are stressed about work, that are rushing around, every time you get angry or there's like a bout of something, your hormones get spiked. This is like the flight or fight response. I've heard some quotes that have connected a cortisol spike, which is like the primary stress hormone. Like let's say you spike cortisol, just like when you eat food, you spike insulin. I've heard people equate it to taking a bite of a candy bar. Now imagine that. You're trying to lose weight. You got the Snickers bar in your brain basically, and you take a metaphorical bite of that Snickers bar because somebody cut you off in traffic or somebody posted on your social media and you're just angry and you're mad. Your hormones follow your emotional state or are the result of your emotional state, and therefore your biology follows your brain. What you think is what you get, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you're always negative, if you're always stressed out, it's going to quite literally put up a wall to your weight loss efforts. Nature. Are you getting outside? Are you getting sunlight? Are you taking a walk every day? If you're not, what are you doing? What are you trying to do? If you're not taking advantage of the free natural gym outside to get outside, move a little bit, get some free vitamin D, go outside, get your vitamin D, get your time with nature to hear the birds and see the green. There's even research that shows that just seeing green is good for us. Why would that be the case? Because our ancestors lived around green forever. There's always green around. If you don't get the lifestyle stuff in check, everything that you do with your diet, even if you're perfect with your diet, you're going to be fighting an uphill battle and you're going to hit plateaus. You're absolutely going to hit plateaus. So if you've lost some weight, maybe 5, 10 pounds, and you're still stressed and worried and anxious and all this other stuff that's going on, obviously keep your diet the way it is, but focus on that and that will bust you through the plateau. 4, you aren't being patient, right? Yeah, I know you've heard this 1,000 times, be patient, fat loss, weight loss, blah. Like I get it. It's the most rote, annoying, whatever advice you're probably going to hear. It's probably the advice you don't even want to hear. You want me to give you some magical hack or trick or whatever that you can like do right now. And I mean, everything I did give you is basically a hack to weight loss because this is stuff you need, but it's also a hack to health. The key is doing it for a long time. The key is building habits around it and not thinking about weight loss as this thing you just like do sometimes and then you stop. Weight loss, sustained health is a practice that you need to develop for life. Maybe that's what you need to internalize before you can start doing it. And this is where mindset comes in. That's imperative that you get the mindset right. If you feel like you don't deserve to be thin, which I know people that literally have that mental block. If you self-identify as a fat person, which I know people that do that, you're never, there's nothing that can happen that's going to get you to that lean natural state until you dispel that mental narrative. So be patient, give yourself time, and every time you make some progress and you hit another plateau, realize that to break through that plateau, you got to go to the next level. So maybe you need to meditate more, get outside more, walk more, exercise more. You always got to do something else to get you as close to that fully holistic, natural, human plan for that natural human body. And then you got to maintain it even stricter for a longer period of time. Every time you go up, that's exactly what you have to do. You got to get better and you got to stay better for longer. And those are the reasons why you're not losing weight on any diet, actually. This is why you're not losing weight, period. So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more, putting out a video a day. Carnivore diet, health, nutrition, ancestral health, helping you take the red pill and wake up to the reality that the experts, the products, the things around you, the corporations, the governments, these things are not here to promote health. They're here to promote their own power and maintain the status quo. When you detach from that, when you see that for what it is, you will truly be free and empowered to live any life you want and have any health you want. And until you do that, it's not gonna happen. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, Colin here, got a freebie for you. Click on the button below to go to theancestralmind.com and download the 7 Principles of Living Wild. This is a short PDF that's got some of the main principles, such as real food, sleep, movement, and a couple more that are gonna help you live more ancestrally in accordance with your genes.